You can be sitting, lying down, standing or walking. Ensure you are warm and comfortable, with your back as straight as comfortable. Close your eyes if sitting or lying down, and bring your head slightly forwards. This is just to release the back of the neck a little. Now relax your forehead and relax around your eyes and your eyes. Place your tongue on the ceiling of your mouth and relax your jaw. Allow your attention to focus on the breath, wherever it is most obvious to you. Be it your nose, your throat, your chest, or your belly. Wherever the breath is strongest, just notice it there. Be curious about how it actually feels, not how you imagine it should feel, or you remember it feeling. Letting go of what you think it should feel like, and actually feeling the breath now, in this moment, as it is. Place your focus on the whole torso. That's the belly and the chest, as they get bigger and smaller with each breath in and out. Again, feeling what is actually there, not what you're expecting, what you're actually experiencing at this time in this moment. Notice the sides and the back of the rib cage as they move with the breath. Bring a kind of curiosity to your attention on the natural breath. Notice how it can soothe stress, discomfort, and pain. If your mind begins to wander, just gently shepherd the mind back to the breath. Don't get down with yourself when you become distracted. This is what we're practicing. Every time you realize the mind has drifted off the breath, this is an opportunity for choice. And we can choose to go back to the breath. Go back to the breath. Become aware of your thoughts without being led by them. Notice how they can change unexpectedly like your breath. You realize that your thoughts are not as concrete as you once thought they were. That thoughts are not facts. So that when we run away with our thoughts, as we often do, as soon as we realize we are not focused, we don't become disheartened, annoyed, or disappointed with ourselves. We just accept it, because this is exactly what we're here to do. This is what we are practicing. So we just go back to the breath. Just go back to the breath. This takes a little practice. We're used to being lost in our thoughts, not noticing one thought going into the next. And sometimes these thoughts become fueled by anger and other emotions, and they're even harder to control. But that's it. We're not trying to control them. In this moment, we're just going back to the breath and leaving that thought, not trying to destroy it or control it or run away from it. Just simply going back to the breath. Go back to the breath. And that thought might pop up again. This could annoy us even more, but we don't need to become annoyed, because we can just go back to the breath. Just go back to the breath. We could get lost in what happened last week or this morning, but that moment is over now, so we can let it go. And go back to the breath. Go back to the breath. You might get lost in what could happen in the future, but these are only predictions, things that haven't happened yet. So you can let them go. And just go back to the breath. Just go back to the breath. Remember, mindfulness and meditation aren't about emptying or filling the mind. It's about being content with the contents, bringing about a non-judgmental awareness to everyday activities. This is simply being aware of our sensations and thoughts without thinking them as good or as bad. In this meditation, we're practicing this non-judgmental awareness in a quiet place. And mindfulness is bringing this awareness into our everyday activities in daily life. So that if you're walking or sitting down or on the bus, you can always just go back to the breath. Just go back to the breath. The more we practice this type of meditation, the more we become aware. The stronger our mindfulness gets, so that it becomes easier and easier to notice when our minds are wandering in everyday situations. Although it will still differ from day to day or hour to hour. But as soon as we are aware our mind has wandered, we have a choice now and an opportunity to go back to the breath. Go back to the breath. I'm going to be quiet for a few moments now, just to let you practice by yourself, going back to the breath. Go back to the breath.